Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Firestorm.
I don't know if the mic picks up my guttural weird mouth noises, but we try. This is
That's,
a
that's what a mic does.
That's true. This is a 7th level evocation spell. It is for clerics, druids, and sorcerers. This is notably not a wizard spell.
Whoa.
Crazy. It genuinely is shocking to me, the fact that I'm like, this can't be right. I have to double check the wiki. This has to be a wizard spell on the Tasha expanded list or something. But according to D&D Beyond, this is not a wizard spell. Which is okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, I was very shocked. A storm made of 10 sheets of roaring flames appears in a location you choose within range. The area of the storm consists of 10 10-foot cubes, which you can arrange as you wish. Each cube must have at least one face adjacent to the face of another cube. Basically, you're making a big old line, like a Tetris block that you customize, of fire. Each creature in the area makes a dex save. On a failed save, it takes 7d10 fire damage, half as much on a successful one. The fire damages objects in the area and ignites flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried. If you choose, plant life in the area is unaffected. And it has that text because it's a druid spell.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah. We can crunch the numbers real quick. In fact, I already did. 12d6 is a 7th level fireball, and that does 42 damage on average. And 7d10, which is how much damage this does, is 38.5. So you have to carry roughly about 3.5 damage. Is it worth it to shape these 10-foot areas as opposed to a 20-foot sphere fireball? Yeah. It's 30 feet longer range-wise. Yeah. That's fine. I don't think it's great, but it's also pretty good on clerics and druids that don't have fireball. So,
Well, I mean, I kind of like this one. It's weird that wizard doesn't get it, but sorcerer does. Because I thought, all right, this is a cleric and druid alternative to fireball.
Mm-hmm.
But sorcerers get fireball.
True. Because also, of the two, sorcerers are supposed to be the more wild, untamed magic, right? And this is a very controlled space, which would make me feel like this is more wizard magic. I guess not. But whatever. You're a fan?
Yeah, I mean it's like fireball combined with wall of fire because you can make a wall.
Yuck! 10 10-foot cubes, arranged as you wish. Each cube has at least one face adjacent. So yeah, you could put this up vertically if you wanted to, for 30-foot wall, I guess.
Well, it doesn't hang around though, so that's not.
Yeah, it's like a big instantaneous pillar of flames.
Right.
That's something. This can be like a fire-based lightning bolt if you just make a big old line of it, which does add a meaningful amount of flexibility to this, right? This can both be a line in a, let's see, it's a 100-foot line. You can also pretty easily do a 30-foot cube, like a 30-foot grid with one extra space on the sides to make it slightly smaller than a regular fireball with a little bit, like a little nubbin somewhere else that might get an extra creature in.
Or you could just say, here's where the enemies are. I wanted to go here, 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 and here.
I think that perspective may get one more enemy-ish in larger scale battle maps than a regular fireball would, though, and that's where I'm like, is this worth it? Yeah.
Well, if people are specifically trying not to be in fireball formation,
maybe,
yeah.
I think being able to have a giant line, right? So being able to make a little snake that hits and comes back around will work well in especially the beginning of fights whenever some creatures have already moved, other creatures haven't, and you can be draw a line that covers them all. That is genuinely probably more powerful than a single fireball can be. That is a reason to consider this that I haven't really given it credit for in the past.
Yeah, so it's a shapeable fireball. That's kind of cool. You compare it to lightning bolt, I think it's a lot better than that because lightning bolt you just get a line.
And lightning bolt does do more damage.
Yeah,
so that's another consideration. And again, a really important note whenever we're comparing those two, we are comparing apples to oranges because you can also cast lightning bolt as a 3rd level spell and a 4th level spell and a 5th level spell and a 6th level spell. So flexibly, lightning bolt has a lot more modes to it, which is important note to say, fireball is still definitely better than this by a pretty good margin because it can also be cast using 3rd, 4th, and 5th level spell slots, right? That's always going to be something you're going to be like, well, if I can only have one, I probably should have fireball. But if you want both, I can see this maybe.
All right, I've come up with a use.
Okay.
All right. I always said fireball. The big weakness is if you got a crowd of enemies and friendlies, they got hostages.
Sure.
Now, what if, all right, this you can maneuver this around, but there's still enemies with their hostages. One of those hostages is your plant friend.
Your awakened shrub.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can choose not to hurt that guy.
That's true. The awakened shrub will be a-okay. This is cute where if you are, for some reason, playing with plant allies, you can just be like, yeah, you're all fine, and just nuke everything else in the area. That's pretty cute. Is it ever going to be relevant, and has it ever been relevant in the history of Dungeons & Dragons? I'm going to go with probably... awakened shrubs are pretty common. Okay, maybe. But, not that common, right? That's cute use case, though. I approve of it.
If enemies have infiltrated your rose garden...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can level all your roses will be a-okay, perfectly
Yep.
fine, pristine condition. I like this as a wildfire druid particularly because it's a big instantaneous damaging effect that doesn't eat your concentration, that eats a higher level spell slot, and druids are often pressed for those. I think it's really good on those character sheets. Clerics, kind of same deal. I like domain clerics with this quite a bit because again, you will have longer duration concentration effects you're kind of leaning on. This doesn't have that. That's just a big burst of damage, and it's enough damage. Whenever you don't have fireball, I'm like, okay, I'm into it. Those two characters I think like this a lot, and one of those characters would want to protect a rose garden, so
there you go.
best of both worlds.
Who wouldn't want to protect a rose garden?
Who's a 7th level, or sorry, a 14th level character, 13th level character adventuring in rose gardens? Is the question I want the answer to.
That could happen.
Could it?
Yeah, maybe not your rose garden, but
okay, but a rose garden.
Yeah,
you're at the big bad's, lavish palace estate, and you're like, we're not touching the topiary.
Right. I'm not a monster.
Yeah, I'm going to kill all of your goons, but I'm not going to touch the bushes. Listen, I respect what you've done here. Your landscaping's immaculate.
I plan to own this place.
I'm not leaving it in rubble and ruin. The building may burn, but the plants will be fine.
Yeah, man, I should be. Oh crap!
It happens again. It's a-okay. Listen, all the viewers at home are gonna be like, "Why in these last 3 videos of Bob's camera got out randomly?" I don't know. It just happens sometimes.
Yeah, I should be thinking more about arranging my fire blast or whatever, but I'm still stuck on the plant thing.
Sure. It's one of those lines of text that's kind of hard to ignore with the mud-filled cysts. I'll always come back to that. But it's just like, wow, this feels pointless. Why is this here? I also still really think that fire damages objects in the area and lights things on fire. Like, come on, team. Can we remove that line of text to save a tree or two? Like, we don't need to print on every single fire spell that it lights things on fire. We're good. We get it. We can figure out that the explosion of flames lights things on fire. Like, come on.
All right, what if you're wearing like a giant bean pod or something?
You're okay. Because remember, it doesn't. If you're wearing anything being worn or carried, even if you're wearing tinder, will not catch on fire.
No, but I mean, will you still take damage?
Yes.
If you're completely surrounded by the bean pod.
Mechanically, yes. Like rules is written, yes.
Okay.
Because conceivably, this is just 70-10 damage in the area, agnostic of cover and everything like that, right? It doesn't give a crap about what you're wearing. It doesn't give a crap about anything around you. It doesn't matter what you're like. If you're underneath water or whatever, this will still affect you. Now, underwater combat does have rules for fire damage, like disruption does do half damage or something like that. But you still, if you're covered in bean sprouts, will be hurt by the firestorm. Unless you have a cool DM that's like, that's a great way to dodge a firestorm, and I'm into it.
That's really not good for anything else, though.
Again, the awakened shrub. That's a great reason.
All right,
on sorcerers, I don't think you need this. On clerics and druids, I think it's great. That probably is a 3. It's 7 levels a lot, but shaping it to do almost fireball damage and it being niche upsides of a fireball, especially in classes that don't get fireball, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, and I said before, it's cool that you can shape it around and, try and catch as many enemies as possible. But yeah, if I was a sorcerer and I had fireball, I wouldn't take this.
You only get so many spells as sorcerer, especially, right? Like, you got other upper tier stuff you got to be doing, I think.
So, yeah, for druids and clerics, where I think it works best, I'm gonna give it up a notch. I'm gonna give it a 4 because like you were saying before, they rely a lot on concentration spells. This is a really good non-concentration option that they can use alongside of it.
This is definitely you're going to be preparing pretty regularly. I'm pretty sure.
I cannot believe there with all those summoning spells, there's not like a summon plants.
Mistakes were made. Why don't we have summon shambling mound? Honestly, D&D Wizards, get on it.
That would be an amazing use for this.
It would. It would. 4th level summon shambling mound into a firestorm. Easy peasy.
Yeah. Ah, well, maybe 1 D&D.
Maybe.
All right.
Listen,
Well,
I'll always take a moment and advocate third-party content. That probably exists somewhere out there. Cobalt Press is a great company. You got Mage Hand Press. They're pretty good too. Check them out. Maybe there's a summon plant spell that goes well with your firestorms. Who knows?
all right. Well, that was Firestorm. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think of Firestorm down in the comments, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.